my friends, this is the video is going to show you how I made my greenhouse cover for overwintering in the garden, or at least to grow longer into the winter. So I hope you like it, and don't forget to hit the like button if you do like it. Thank you. So the plan is to build a frame around it, and one side of it will face the southern sky where the sun is during the daytime, and it'll have some angled glass or polycarbonate or even plastic. You could use greenhouse plastic, I suppose. And I might use that because I don't have any polycarbonate, but I have some plastic. It's not greenhouse plastic, it's visqueen. It'll work for a year or so. And maybe for experimental purposes, that'll be the best way to go. So, one of these sides will have that. And it'll have a top on it. Now, one thing I've seen people do is they make a hoop top over it, which I might do that, but they make it real tall. And I'm thinking you want it lower, you know, maybe 18 inches or something. Unless you're going to have plants that are going to be taller than that, like tomato plants or something, you could do a taller one. But that just, you know, that creates a need for more heat to fill that space, and then it's going to dissipate quicker, is my thinking. This is all something I wanted to mention that I do quite often, is I rip 2x4s all the time to make them go farther, especially for stuff like this, where, you know, structurally it's not as important. And this is pretty strong. You rip a 2x4 in half, and I have a table saw that I usually do that on. Yeah, and you can rip these you can rip these with a skill saw. It's easier with a table saw if you have one. If not, you snap a line on it and use your skill saw. It takes a little practice, but you can do it. So this is all about doing with what you have, you know, without having to buy a bunch of stuff. You might have to buy a few things with some hardware or plastic or whatever, but you want to minimize that, of course, you can. So we're going to go ahead and rip one of these 2x4s, which means we have to get out the table saw, or I could just do it with a skill saw, I guess. A couple things you need are chalk line, tape measure. So put some ends on it. Sometimes your chalk line doesn't chalk all the way across. There's a space on the end there where it didn't hardly get any chalk. So what I do is I take a straight edge, which a level makes a good straight edge, and I pencil it in so I can see it while I'm cutting. go. So you can probably see why it's easier with a table saw, and you get a straighter cut and so on. But for just one of them, you know, it's fine. Okay, so here's the finished bottom part of the frame. You can get a little bit better angle or lighting. So basically this is it. And we got a 65-degree slant. So there's a formula for getting the degree slant that you need for your area. Basically it's about approximately 20 degrees. You add approximately 20 degrees to your latitude. So give or take. You know, everything you read gives a little bit different take on it. Some say it's got to be pretty accurate. Most of them say within 5 or 10 degrees and you should be good. I have a passive solar heated well house that's at 63 degrees. And I believe that at a 63 degree angle, and that works super good. So this is my latitude is supposed to be 60 with 20 is about 45 degrees latitude where I'm at, and so add 20 to that and that's 65. We'll see. I'm going to build the top, the greenhouse top for it next, and I'll take some video of that. So I'm sure you can figure out how to do this, and you can see that I use ripped 2x4s. Just rip them down the center. That makes your 2x4s go a lot farther. For something like this, you don't need to have 2x4s. If you want it really heavy duty, you can. If you don't plan on ever having to move it, that kind of thing. I mean, you can move it even with 2x4s, but it's heavier. And so this is going to slip over this old horse feeder trough here. So this is a 2 foot by about 7 foot by about 2 foot approximately. Okay, so we're working on the lid now, and basically what I've done is I've built another square on top. Let's see if we can get a shot here so you can see. I have it clamped right now because I don't have the hinges on it yet, and I made the tubing. The tubing is EMT, electrical metallic tubing, that you can get at your local hardware store or building supply. And I bent that, and there's a way to do that. See that? I can't tell for sure because of the sun. But anyways, so you stick the pipe in here, and then you just pull it. You pull it around here and bend it. And you got to go a little bit past it. It's not perfect, but it gets the job done for greenhouse tubing to put your greenhouse plastic on. So you can look up videos on how to bend tubing, you know, do it yourself, or you can buy a tubing bender, but they can be expensive. So unless you're going to be bending a lot of tubing, you probably don't want to spend the money on one, and you can just put together something like this. Okay, friends, here we are, finished product except for the top. So I have the stops on it, and we'll open it up. And so it's not actually hitting the stops right now. Might have to put some shims in there just in case. The chains are actually holding it. I guess if the wind is blowing though, those stops will help. And so you can see here, to keep these things from sliding, I use some plumbing tape. I thought I had some 1/2 inch electrical tubing ties for that, but I didn't. So plumbing tape works, metal plumbing tape. So that's the finished product except without the plastic. So the chain, all of the stuff I had laying around except for the EMT. So it didn't cost me anything extra. I mean, it cost money because I bought the materials for something else originally, but you know, to not have have to spend extra money. So I spent $13 on the EMT on the tubing. Okay, so here's the finished product, at least the prototype of it. I just wrapped it in plastic for now, so we can come over here and unlatch this side, and we'll unlatch this side. And we can open the whole thing up, and this is what it looks like. Opened up, and it's going to sit over the horse trough for now. But I just want to say, you don't need a horse trough or something like that. I just happen to have one, and I think the metal side will help absorb heat better, and you could paint it black and so on and so forth. But you could put roofing tin along the edges or along the sides to fill it in, and just put some wire mesh on the bottom. So well, at least for us here, we have voles here, which are like a small mole type animal that'll eat the roots out of a lot of your plants and things. Okay friends, this is the grow box with the cover on it in the garden, okay? And you can see how we've done it, kinda. So we got the horse trough inside there, got the rings. That's the greenhouse plastic that goes on top of it. I'm not going to put that on right now, but this is the garden bed. So, and it worked fantastic. It really worked fantastic. I was able to grow clean into the winter, and I got vegetables. Even middle of winter, covered in snow, I was still able to dig out some root vegetables that were still good, and we had some fresh vegetables during the winter. So I think that it could be improved to work better. So anyways, I just wanted to show you, and you can see that I put the polycarbonate on. It's you know, I originally had the plastic on it, but that, you know, obviously wore out quick, and the wind just plays havoc with that. So we don't get wind real often here. Although you might think, yeah, sure, because a lot of my videos, it's windy when I'm recording, but it does. We do get some crazy wind sometimes. So, anyways, all right, there you have it.